Yeah, seems like we're holding pretty well overnight, consolidating right above the prior month Feather high. Yeah, I'm long from last night at like 47.547 down here. A small size trade, but I'm long from last night. Okay, let's see if they break out. It looks like pretty decent, like it wants to hold, but I don't think they'll open up right here in the first 15 minutes. I'm gonna give it some time. But yes, I was long from overnight. The reason was one of the trade setups that I gave on the Substack was the failed breakdown of the or break and reclaim of the 75.46 cluster of lows from Friday session. So we probed below it, and we held, and then I went long and scaled overnight. It was a small trade because wasn't really, it wasn't a high conviction setup given where it was near the top end of the whole range, but I like the cluster of lows that it took out. We'll see if it can reclaim here 54s. I'll add some more if it does the same thing here at 54s right now. So there's a cluster of lows here from pre-market at 54. We're probing below it right now. And I'll buy some right here at 5.4 if it holds. Okay. Buy a little bit more. Keep the same stop as earlier, which is literally where the gamma flip is. It's 35s was the invalidation area, so I bought 2 more there. And then we'll scale at 68 and then 70. Where's the overnight high at? 74? Okay. Right here around 74 is the overnight high. Or I'll scale some if it hits. Taking along here at 7556. Targeting overnight high and then holding runner. No, because it didn't test the overnight high yet. I don't think so, because if it was an open test drive of the overnight high, it needs to probe the overnight high. It didn't do that. It stopped right before it. Like 3 ticks before it. Yeah, well, here's, I mean, if you go through the process, let's do it together. All right, so like, where is the open relative to the prior day's range? The open is above prior day high, so it's technically a gap up outside prior day high. And then holds cleanly, bounces higher. Fails, falls price back within prior day high. It's right now it's failed, so it's looking for a gap fill. Relative to the open. So right, the open was 64.75, prior to high was 61.75. I think you went inside. So if you did inside, it's got to probe the level, right? So it didn't do this. If you did this, then you get open test drive. But if it did not probe the overnight high, it just came right below it. So it's more so that initial question I might have answered was incorrect. Right, so because the open was not inside prior day high, it was actually outside prior day high, and then it's fill, going for a gap fill. The gap fill would be if it comes down to, where's the prior close? Probably already gap filled because the gap was probably so small. If we're talking about Friday's range. And if it isn't short the close of the test candle, test of the priority high. So if it is a gap fill, yes, you're essentially looking for this. But again, the gap fill is so small, like it's not worth it. Because you gotta think about like the risk reward for the gap fill, right? You look at Friday's range. Let me look it up. Here's what the gap fill suggests, right? If you're doing the gap fill, this is the close right here. So you would be, if you're looking for the gap fill, you're essentially just looking for this trade right here. Gap rejected, priority high failed, fill in progress. The fill's like 5-7 points. It's very small. So the real trade is really just the gap and holds cleanly, gap up extension. The real trade you're going to be looking for is this one. If this one holds, you're going to look for an open, comes in, and you want to see a test and hold the priority high as support for a higher. This is the priority high right here. So you want to see a hold and then come back in and hold the priority high as support for an extension. And then you target the overnight high, right, for a gap up. Gap up, hold priority high, target overnight high for the extension. That makes sense? It's like it's a gap and go scenario. I mean, it's both technically. Like you can look at both because that's both have happened. But if you're looking for the gap fill, in this instance, it's just not worth it. Because this is the fill right here. This is the close. This is the gap up, the spread between the open and price, and it's right here. This is the capturing spread for the gap fill. It's very small. As opposed to this over here. Overnight high, priority high. This is the trade here for the gap fill, for the gap extension. And the reason it's so messy or not as clean is because of Friday's action. It was very small and massive gap up from Thursday's price action. So the behavior is resolve the gap first, wait for the test of priority high as new support. If it holds, trade extension. If it fails, trade short. No anticipation entries. That's like the behavioral setup. Alright, it says here gap up. VWAP is the RTH VWAP. Is the line in the sand. Resolve the gap. Wait for the first test of priority high as new support. Let's see if it comes back in. Test 61 and holds right now. And then trade with the extension. If it fails, you trade short. No anticipation of entries. So we'll see it's coming into 61. Fails. Again, the thing is, like, for the gap fill, there is no fill. It's like a very small gap. So it's almost not worth mentioning. The gap is right here. It's like this small. So the one I'm looking at is like the extension, right? Priority high, extension to overnight high. This part. When you get the open test drive, it has to open and then go past the overnight high and then go below it. It has to wick. It has to go way past the overnight high. Not way past it, but it has to go past it. It doesn't. If it goes right below it and it does not probe it, then it's not an open test drive. It can't be. It has to probe it. See if it takes out the overnight high. It's like right below it, but it's not really pushing too much. Right now they did the gap up, right? Gap up. They did perfectly. They ran past the priority high, and then they are supporting the priority high currently. You see this little test and hold. They came back into it and held from above after breaking above it. So then again, my target's here, overnight high, somewhere around there, a little bit below it, but more or less that's the target area. See if it hits or not. And again, the reason I added at 55s, 56s was because of the reclaim. Okay, there's a target. Okay, just hold one. Yeah, Friday action. So I didn't see the gap up open. Yeah, I mean, it's because Friday's action really threw everything off. To be honest, it's like messy when you have sessions like that. I skilled most of it. I'm just having one runner, and the reason is I just don't really. I don't know if Friday's gap's gonna hold that well. It's a large gap. I think Thursday's was just capitulation, honestly. Hey, good morning, man. How are you? Welcome back, sir. The heck? Okay. Yeah, it's, I mean, I hope the classifier, I mean, I feel like the questions, if I can update them or make them a little different, let me know. That it makes it easier to go through. Because, like, the questions, I'm not sure if everyone's, if they're clear, right? Where did ES open relative to the prior range? Right? Like, if I need to change any of the verbiage, make it simpler. Right here, tagged key level at open. It didn't really do that. It didn't tag the overnight high. So yeah, the classifier said gap up. I also said gap up off the open. There's a gap. can clean up that pore structure up there. Hey, good day, man. How are you? Did it not load the templates? I just saw that. The templates. Doing better than this PA? Oh man. Well, that's good. I'm glad. The templates didn't load. Interesting. Let me put the templates up here. By the way, some of the templates, I haven't built them all. So if you're looking for all my templates, let me know which ones those are, and I can put them on the store. Because I don't have all my templates on here. I only have a couple. I need to build them out and submit them on the store. Because I only have my profiles. And then the small time frame chart, I have one of them on here, but I don't have all of them. So I can always create them and put them up. If any of the templates interest you. $72, $76 show some resistance from last Thursday. It does. It's been I mean, here's the thing. We're like in a large consolidation base. So it's like, yeah, I agree. It's been, this whole area has been, right, resistance. I just, if we look at this here, and this looks like simply like this. So we have a large range, and we have a consolidation before the breakout right now. So we're having a consolidation base. This is a failed breakdown part of the whole range. Failed breakdown, right, of the multi-day range. And then right now they're consolidating right there, just kind of like they did over here before the breakout. So it looks like we potentially can break out. That's my assumption. I'm not assuming we're gonna fade. If you want to fade, I think the better fade would be just wait for it to hold below 55s, as opposed to trying to bet on against this breakout. Right, because you're going to have a better win rate if you just wait for the 55s to fail. Because right now the NQ is performing well, and that wasn't the case when we broke down. We're breaking down the other 2 days, or trying to break out. But I don't disagree. The letter has been sticky zone. So I scaled out. I only have one lot left, and we'll see how the rest of the initial balance goes through. We have about 30 minutes, and go from there. Let's put some music on for myself, but yeah, it's pretty choppy open, just range bound. This is a big zone. That's the thing, is like, if it's going to resolve itself, I would assume it's going to be after the IB, the initial balance. For me, my work is done. until post IB for now. I've traded how I needed to for the entries, scaled them where I wanted to, and I just need to see in terms of time now whether this is going to break out or not. Getting like a volatility move down. There's another hold right here, 61. Pretty strong spike down and reclaim. That within itself is interesting if it holds for an ad. Yeah, they held very well on that spike down. If it does end up holding, pretty good reference for a higher low. Yeah, they held it again at the same level. And they're holding above VWAP so far. The newswire, oil prices steady steady at pre-Iran war levels. Oh, we had ISM. I didn't even realize. Is that what that was? Yeah, that 2 minutes ago, that was the ISM numbers. That's what this spike was. ISM data coming in. I agree. The higher low is a good reference point. Yeah. As we're talking, I'm some of the comments I'm making, I'm posting them on Substack. So. My entry, taking along here, blah, blah, blah. Nice reference. Yeah, they held very well. Spike down, good reference if they hold. So some of these comments that I'm making, like I'm making them for the stream, but more so the Substack. I'm just posting them, so it is good. I'm glad you caught that. So that's a reference point for this entire consolidation base. If it holds, then it's good for a breakout. It was the reason we spiked down was the ISM numbers that came in, so looks like they came in at right here. US ISM manufacturing for June, 54 versus 54, so in line. I have the headlines here. Now I'm back in town. Oh, you look. See, the book is thinner. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Pretty messy open. Overall, they're trying to bounce still above that 60 area. It's very messy. So far still holding above. We're still forming value above. Look at the profile here. We're still forming value above the or we're still consolidating, let's just say, above this range from Thursday. Thursday's value are high. We're still holding above it right here. This Thursday's value are high, right off 557. Still holding above it. Yeah, it looks good if they can break that high. There's a lot of supply. Like this guy said earlier, Fung said there's a lot of supply at 70s. And this continues to be there. They're passive, so we'll see if they're able to break it or not. Give me a sec. Okay. Ugh. Connor just keeps pushing. Let's see if it breaks out or not. There's multiple attempts at this zone. We're still holding value. Everything looks pretty steady for a breakout today, but I think the invalidation area would be if we hold below the 75.50s. We'll see. The invalidation would be if we can hold back below 55 again. Same area we've been breaking down out of. The last like 4 sessions before this was 55, around there. Oh. Well, for now, I'm just chilling. Oh, if it works. Let's actually, let's see. Let's see what you guys think. Do we break out of the 570s or fail below 7550s? I guess the other option is chop. I went to bed last night really fucking late. Really late, man. I'm tired. Chop. He said chop. Okay. Choppity chop chop chop. Burr 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 burr. The world. And now I'm just chilling. Hey, when I come and it's like, do you wait? Oh, actually, you know what? I keep forgetting to pin my stuff, man. Pin my stuff. And you take my never post, but I knows I came close. Our shit together. Please told me being lonely with old lonely. Alright. This is like gonna break out. We're still not post IB, but anything, if we can consolidate anywhere near over 75, 71 through 65, it's the prior month value high. To me, that's a pretty good indication we're breaking out. Let's see if we can hold that into the IB. What it looks like right here. Yeah, if you look at just the RTH print, look at this. This looks like simply like all it did was on this chart right here on the top left. Looks like all it did is just retest Friday's gap up and then trying to go. Right here, probed into 55s. That's where I bought some. Right, bought some here. We were long from overnight here. It looks like all it did is just retest Friday's range, cluster of lows, and then it's just trying to go. We'll see if it does it. Where's the NQ at? Let's see. Yeah, NQ's above the overnight high. It's doing good. The weakness today is in the Dow. Chop, chop, chop. People said chop, 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 chop. Oh, no breaking today. It's possible, very likely, given the all right. Sorry, we're working on stuff over here in the background. I don't have much. I mean, want to see what this happens. IB is getting closer and closer, and we're just consolidating on a large base. We'll see if this consolidation leads to a breakout and continuation, or it just ends up being a breakout and tuck. So, I mean, we have a base now, right? So if we can break out post IB and then it comes back in, then it's just a failed breakout, and that can definitely create some damage. But if it does something like so, comes in and trades a little higher, and then we'll likely test 5,600. And then there's another level above that, 5614 or 7614, and 7600 are areas I think we might trade if we do break out, but we haven't broken out yet. Ain't enough to care myself. That's what I'm waiting for essentially, is for the break of the structure now, to see if we break out, and if so, do we fail or do we continue? And if we continue, I'm open to adding more. If we don't continue, then I'm just gonna let the runner kind of do its thing. Got pretty good fills today. We got fill here below this area, got another fill down here, literally near the low of the session, and scaled near the high currently of the session of the range. All days, all I do is shine. Take a breath, ease my mind. Don't cry. I like the IBH break and T and hold it, yeah. Then took long for our only trade we take for the day. I mean, it's a good continuation trade. You know, see if it breaks and holds for a breakout. I don't know if we if that has a higher hit rate. Let me see if I have any stats on that historical. Gap up, most edge, 59% follow through. Wait for confirmation before committing. Gap up. I don't have a stat for that. For the breakup of IB. Opening. Nope. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have one. I'll look into that. See how likely the break of the IBH and continuation is on a day where there's a gap up. Probably add that as like a statistical probability chart as part of the evidence takeaway. I'll probably add that because I don't have that right now. Like how likely is that on gap up days does the ES break above the IB high and continue to trade higher into the end of the day? I'd like to have that stat. We have a little AI now for the little journal. So yeah, prep focus. These are questions that are pre-built. You can add your own, but this, which of my setups fits today's open type plus Gex regime historically? What the hell is this? Oh no, I need that report. Oh shit. Should I size down today's givens? You have IB stats? I will DM. Oh, thanks. Compare today's setup to 3 best trades of the month, given today's prep. So far, what's the biggest risk? Pretty cool to have. You know, to ask those questions that we don't think about in the moment. And we have a little AI doing it for us. See if I can oh, cool. That was a neat looking chart. Five years of data, not bad. For IB extensions, do you code all these cool gadgets? Yeah, I coded. Well, I mean, I use Claude Code, so yeah. I don't know how to code though. That's a good distribution curve, huh? Nice. So 70% of most times we stay within half the standard deviation move. 20% of the time we actually do break and hold. This is all types of breaks. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing. 60-minute initial balance hold. I think has pretty good stats. I'm gonna probably create a filter for exclusively for gap up days to see what the probability of a break and hold of an IBH is. But that's good because that one's for pretty much all IB ranges, right? Given no matter use it for all. It looks like there's a breakout one there too. I don't know if what that one exactly tracks, but thanks for sharing them. Accurate, right? Do you code all these cool gadgets? Yeah. So this journal right here is like everything that's on here. I personally created with the help of AI, but I told it what I wanted it to look like. But yeah, the AI, this little feature here, I have an API key to it, so I can use Opus, Haiku, or Sonnet. So let's see. Should I size down yesterday's tone? Like we'll ask a question just to test it out. Should I size down today given yesterday's tone? Let's see what it says. We'll ask a couple questions that are on there. We can ask our own. You can make your own question if you have a better one, but for now we'll do this one. If there's one you guys want me to ask, you guys can give it to me and I'll put it on here. Again, this is my journal. It's one I've been developing. So it says no tone session log 7.3. Of course, just chopped because of yesterday. It was a short day. The day's damage was concentrated on lunch. It was giving me like some stats on my trading history. Some of my data trade samples. The verdict, yes, size down today. You're entering the exact conditions that produced the worst single loss of that period. And your two chronic leaks, lunch and peak windows, are unresolved when rate respectively. Given you're sitting at a 4,800 profit with only 1,100 cushion to target at 6,800 to blow. So my cushion is 6,800 to blow. Another 3,000 lunch trade would be just giving me kind of like what would happen if I did trade. And it's not wrong. So my stats, I know it's correct because my worst trading days are always on gap up days. Gap up days are my worst trading sessions. So it's saying size down because literally when the data says that these are my worst trading sessions. I am not very good at gap up days. Let's see what else we can ask it. What setups? Nope, there's not enough data for that one. Given today's prep, what's the biggest risk? Let's do that. Okay, so your biggest. Gotta make the journal larger so we can read it. There's a scroll bar on here. Let me see. It's because I don't have it on a web browser. I can't forget to see it the same. Darn it. Let me do it on the other one. On the real browser. Where is that? Shame on you. Everybody's strange. Alright, let's do it here. Let's take a look. So this is what it looks like essentially. Here's the dashboard. Alright. Oops. Here's the dashboard, tracking the P&L curve and days, target, drawdown, cushion, morning prep is what we're doing this morning. The classifier is the thing that's you guys have access to. Book Intel, Leak Finder. Here, we'll do it right here. What's my worst hour of the day? Does it correlate with the RTH opening type? Oh, that's a good one. Am I over trading on Gex red days? How much cushion do I have? Which setups perform best when I'm above the gamma flip? Grade my week. Write one lesson I should carry into Monday's prep. That's pretty good. You'll see. We'll do this. What's my worst hour of day, and does it correlate with the RTH open? See what it says. So here's my window. Lunchtime, worst time to trade. 37% win rate. Afternoon, 143. Early morning, 20%. Midday. Okay, and then off. This is during the overnight. My biggest P&Ls are overnight, seems. Lunch is the only negative window in the whole period. No, only early has win percentage 20% but positive. Yeah, so we need to fix that. We need to make sure it shows hours here, not just like lunch peak. Like, what the fuck do you mean by lunch peak, dude? I gotta add that as a note. Let me open up my notepad. The things we don't consider when we're making it. Add time slots to the windows of stats. Right now, there is no time variables, only titles. There you go. So that's an add we'll do. So as we're using the journal, we'll have to, you know, develop and add stuff. It takes time. Verdict lunch is bad. Trade my number 2. Sample 6 trades over for you. The worst windows right there, 12 to 14. Lunchtime for me. Based on my my trade history, my trade log. Okay, so we'll minimize this for now. I think we have the other one open, right? Yeah. There you go. A lot of sellers sitting up here again. And you can see that we broke the IB already. Oh shoot. I forgot what time it was at. 7:35. It's been 5 minutes since the IB. We did a little breakout and failure so far. Test and fail. We trace in below thoughts. I mean, the only thing I can say is, like I said earlier, we have a established range. And I said this earlier, it's break below and hold under 66, then I would assume we transverse and go lower, right? Below 66. So if it holds above it, if it can hold at minimum, say even if it goes down to 68, as long as the overnight high holds, I would assume we trend higher. Pretty much like, for me, the reference is here, this little area. We either hold here or trade below and then fade here. You got to get above or below this little block in price for me. Like if we're holding above the overnight high, there's no reason to fade this. We're holding below the RTH VWAP and the prior month value high, 66, 7566, then it's a fade. If we're holding above the overnight high, 7574, we're trending, so let it trend. That's generally what I'm seeing right now. Okay, I hope that's kind of pretty straightforward and simple. Because if this is holding, then this is just a trend, right? Still holding the neckline of this breakout over here. Still holding all of this. Like this range here, or value is forming here. Right, so, and then the profile here too, you can see on the S&P profile, we're holding over Thursday's value high. And June 30th as well. Technically, it's still breaking out, so just let it break out. If it fails, then it's a clear line where that is for me. A lot of sellers lined up here. That's this area right there, right there. They're like sitting there waiting. They're waiting. I ran straight through the entire engine. Holding overnight high. 739. Let's see if we can hold here into Euro close. I'll add more and then raise the stop. Euro closes at another hour, so I'm gonna have to give this some time, but the next hour we hold all this little range here, 70s, into the next hour. And then I will add more and raise the stop to below VWAP 60s. Right now it's at 35s. Oh, I gotta wait for that to happen. Okay, they're probing into this little box here. Pretty slow action overall. Ugh. Let's see, it's probing into the box. See if it breaks below 66s or continues to break out. It's just a little trap. Where's the NQ at? Let's see. NQ still holding. The Dow really, that's not doing too well. So near the overnight low. I think you guys might be right on the chop, man. We just chop, chop, chop. Or no, maybe no, there's no breakout. Just chops. Who knows? Big if true. The combination of this PA. Oh man, it's supposed to be soothing, not boring, but yeah, I feel, man. This price action is pretty slow, man. Completely different from Thursday's price action. That was like on and off switch compared to the two. Yeah, we've been spoiled. Yeah. You know, honestly, given that it's a historically low volume period from May through about August, we have been. The amount of volatility we've had in some of these days has been a lot more than we normally would have during this historical period. Now, mind you, we also have midterms, so that does play a role in the volatility historically, but most times it's very slow like this during this time of the year. Especially like the middle of May going into July. It really doesn't pick up to August when earnings season starts to come out again. This is like historically a blessing in some way, that it's not too slow. We're holding the box. Holding the box. Holding the box. All right. Go, man. Don't like to gamble on the weather. So we got one person who voted. Yikes. Some people are ashamed to answer questions. Tell the truth. The whole truth, nothing but. These are... Gamma flips at 35s. That's exactly where I had my stop last night too. How funny. So yeah, consolidation, breaking out, continuing trend. Let's see. Euro close is still in about 30 minutes, so I'm waiting for that period to come in before I decide if I'm going to add to this or not. AI is a huge part for me. I always backtesting and finding things. That's awesome. So that's the thing is like, I guess the question is, how are you, what's the framework when you're refining? Are you looking for historical targets to trade? Are you looking for probability of certain setups working out? Are you looking for more further development and confirmations that help you kind of give you more confirmations or validation of an entry? Statistical targets. About macros? Cool. So you have it, review macro. Like what kind of macro? Are we talking like monetary policy? Are we talking about historical trends? Like during certain periods of time, like historically, you know, August is an up month, down month, or historically summer is, etc. What kind of macro stuff we're looking at? There's different ways to use AI. That was those two good examples. FH just said one, he's looking at backtesting, refining a setup. That can branch off into a multitude of ways. And then Funfung saying COT. Okay, that COT's good. I know that FH is a great... You know what? Let's plug this guy in here. You guys want to read a COT report that gets dissected for you? We have just the guy. Where is it at? If you guys want to read a COT report, this guy does a great job at reading them for you. Let me see if he... Right here. So if you guys want to read his, he does a dissection of the COT report for you too every day, every week. There's a no updated COT report breakdown June 23rd. And it kind of gives you a preface of what a COT report is, why. And so it's pretty good. He does a great job at kind of looking over the open interest, the data behind all the contracts. If you're looking at COT reports, definitely look at this guy's. He posts it on Sundays. I don't look at COT reports, but I know he does. So I read his, and they're very good to dissect. I get the gist of what he's saying, and it makes sense. For targets, cool. You trade first generation weekly, monthly. Does it revert to VWAP? That's very true. Definitely on the weekly and monthly frame, it is a common thing that does happen. So you're looking at it from a target perspective, and I'm assuming with that same context in mind, an entry zone based on that reverting or reversion. If you guys want to read his reports, right there on the chat. Thursday session, we pull into prior months a VWAP, and we often get really good reactions from trend continuation. That's the number one setup. Thursday session, we pulled into the previous month's a VWAP. Nice. Wait for a pullback into those references and go with the trend. So you look at monthly anchor VWAPs or zones of interest. Interesting. We were looking at what, June's anchor VWAP. That's great. I don't even consider look at anchored VWAPs for monthly periods. Is it anchored at the like start of the day or the first RTH open? Use full session for AV up. Okay. Mainly because we have it going crazy during ETH. That's so true. Yeah. Especially within the last few weeks. Yeah. The huge breakdowns we've had. I mean, look at this one. This breakdown. And then this gap down too. Alright. These two moves here happen overnight. This one and this one. Oh, that's true. Because of the Kospi, the South Korean market's really putting a dent into the chips here. We're selling off overnight. Yeah, it's been hard to ignore. I agree. There's been a lot of volatility overnight the last few weeks. Look at, they bounced the box. They held the box. We're back into the IB again. Breaking out to new highs. My oh my. We were worse, you don't got one. When you're so much. Do you use AI for your prime trade? Some people said no, some people said yes. It's kind of 50-50. It's interesting. Got 5 votes, so it's not really evenly balanced, but very interesting. Not really sure how to use AI. Oh, okay. Well, that's definitely a good way to start. Or even program. Claude is the best AI. I agree. I can't say I've tried all the AIs, but I've used ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. I've used Manus. I've used... What else have I used? It just depends what you use it for, but I agree. Claude is just like an all-around beast, bro. I just got the Max plan, and my god, that thing's insane. It's insane, bro. But as far as like how to utilize it, I think that's the paralyzing part of it sometimes. Well, you can code. I haven't tried many to code. You know what? Like Gemini sucks at coding. I can't say that. I've tried to do it on there. Even just writing regular Python scripts, it's not the best. So that's always a bottleneck. Is like, well, how do I use this powerful tool in what I'm doing, right? And I think the bottleneck is really just giving it context, like just telling it what you already do, where your deficiencies are, where your strengths are, and then letting it just kind of guide you through potentially what you can use it for. It's the AI is only as good as the context you give it, the information you give it. So if you can give it like a definitive, like, hey, I'm a scalper, I look for momentum trades, my best trading time or the indicators that I currently use are XYZ, I trade the S&P or the ES futures, currently trying to figure out how to optimize my entries, or I don't know, whatever it may be, you know, just give it as much context. That's one example. And it'll kind of give you an overview of what you said, and then some responses are different, depends on your context or your settings, but what you want to figure out is how to optimize, you know, like what are you trying to optimize for? Position sizing, taking profit, entries, whatever it may be. There's a multitude of things that you can optimize for. Maybe you have trade data already, like an Excel sheet with a bunch of your data that's in Rhythmic. If you have a Rhythmic account, give it your spreadsheet. Tell it, hey, look at my data. Look at my fill history. Look at all my losses and all my gains. What's the best time that I normally trade? I'm a scalper. I do this way, XYZ. It'll look at all your data and be like, okay, it looks like periods with high volume are probably your best windows within the first 3 hours of the day. After that, your hit rate drops off significantly. Right? And that analysis saves you, because then you're like, okay, I know for sure historically based on my data, after 12 I shouldn't be trading because I usually lose more than I win. That would send within itself is like a refinement, right? Like an opportunity spot for your P&L to improve. because you're eliminating your deficits, your leakage. And then the other thing would be like, okay, well, I usually hold a trade, but I target and I sell it too early because I get scared or because I don't know where to target. Sometimes my targets are too far away, the market never hits them, and my trade goes from green to red, or I sold the trade out of fear, so I sold it early and then it ran another 20 points, right? That's another deficit that you can figure out to help you kind of prioritize better take profits areas to maximize your exposure or risk. So you're not betting the farm and you're not selling too soon, right? Somewhere in the middle historically. And I mean, there's so many other things you can look at. The biggest problem I think people have is they go on tilt as well, you know, hopping create guardrails and how to not go on tilt. I mean, church, dude, you know what? Talking about that, I'm over here explaining all this stuff. It's literally what my journal's doing. You guys go to the website. Try Agile. So just go to the, if you guys go to it, you'll get a lot of insight. If you guys go, I can open it fully. This is the website. All right, so the AM give back, the blind exits. How many times have you had a green morning? Only 10 in the day red. You hold over for the home run. There's never going to be, and then, or, you know, your profits just not where they should be. Your targets. One tilt session in the afternoon ruins 14 green, 14 days of green, along with your funded account. So let's do it. You just answer a few questions. This the software is going to help you with any of those things. You don't even have to ask AI. It'll give you all the data you have already access to. If you plug in your info, it'll synchronize with your broker, and it'll give you all that information that we're discussing. You won't even have to have prompts with AI. It'll have all the information delivered to you. All you need to do is just give it your information. Give it your CSV file or access to your account via the Rhythmic. And then tell it what kind of trader you are. And then it'll give you a whole bunch of info about yourself. It'll give you goals to aim for, areas of strength. It'll be your little helper. I'll share the beta software later once I can do a full walkthrough. I don't think you can share links on YouTube. Even if you post them, they won't go through. I'm not sure why. You'll have to email it to me. Yeah, this is a trading view. Whatever it is, I mean, you just email it to me because you're not going to be able to share it, unfortunately. I think the internet went out for a minute. There it is, reconnected. There you go. Go to YouTube, put in, I recreated a quant trading strat with Claude. That stuff's always fake, but yeah, we'll read it. I'll read it because, I mean, to create a quant trading thing, it's just, I guess we'll see what it's about. Let's see. Alright, which one is it? This one? It gives you the script. I mean, honestly, I'll watch it. The thing is, like, I'm not gonna. Yes, this one? Okay. We'll save it for later. Okay, I'll watch it for later, and then we'll see, what it's about. I appreciate you sharing it. It's total math. Oh, that's good. I'll review it, man. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Yeah, I'll let you know tomorrow. No problem, man. I'll watch it later today at some point. We're still holding this one little lot, man. See if we get up here. There's a bunch of sellouts here waiting up here. I'm not sure if they're gonna get filled or not, but the Dow is recovering. See if the Dow is gonna break out or not. NQ has to hold here. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna adjust the stop loss on this trade here now. We have enough structure where at this point it doesn't really make a lot of sense to let this thing go all the way down to 35s if it does. Go to 62 and a quarter. Just below the VWAP and see what happens. Because right now it looks pretty weak. The NQ's coming down. Dow's just grinding, not doing much, but the NQ is showing some weakness here, so I'm gonna manage the stop loss on that runner and see what happens. You don't know. Euro close is coming up in 15 minutes. So again, I wanted to see Euro close hold over the overnight high. If we do, then I'm open to adding. Oh, excuse me. Going to trail the stop loss on the runner below VWAP around 62 3/4. Hey, why did it lock me out of Rhythmic? What the fuck? Oh my god. Not it opening all these pages. There you go. And they're holding still that little dip, man. Well, I'll give it 10 minutes and see if I want to add or not. So far, it's holding pretty decent. It's holding above the first standard deviation as well. You look at this. Check it out. It's a pretty strong trend overall. We broke out. First standard deviation is holding as support so far. We'll see if that holds or not. Yeah, there is lots of liquidity. It's like resting there. Look at this. There's a 7600, 75, like 90s. There's more. It's just trending, man. I haven't done anything since the morning open. And like the only entry I had was last night, and then right now at the open near the 56s when we were probing the overnight low or cluster of lows from the overnight session. It's breaking out. Thank you. Just did some sort of test of party high and then just continued. Didn't even break down. It was just a retest of that party high. Do a little spring cleaning. Always too busy dreaming. I should wake up instead. One of the days I regret. Say. I could just get out my goddamn way. What is it to say? Maybe I'll lay down for a little. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna pump in for that area. Those little listing limit orders that are up here. I want to come into these. Say sorry. Hey, look, I found this cool picture, you guys, on my desktop. I forgot I had it. Check this out. Aw, look at that. How cute. What do you guys think? What's the difference? Little bear. See the little bear? Why would you short this? See the little bear? Aw. Aw. Look at him. Why would you do it? Why you do that, little bear? Why you short the hole? There you go. Seems like they want it, yeah. Yes, I didn't know it was the open highest open interest, but seems like they want it, yeah. Like it's headed in that way. There's a cluster of highs at the 610s that I want to target, but we'll see. I'll just trail this slowly and see where it takes me. Not really gonna be too aggressive with it, but 7600 seems to be the most reasonable target. It's the prior month value high from 2 months ago. And it is so bad. Do, 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 do. The other question is, do you typically hold trades for more than 1 hour? What? Yeah, it's like really. I haven't seen the book this highlighted. The market depth. I haven't seen it this bright in a while. They're just chilling there, waiting to get filled. That's insane. Super bright right there, all over above this area. Oh, we got some votes here. 3 votes. Someone said, do we typically hold for more than 1 hour? No. Oh my. Cool. Like, well, what's the median rate of hold? Maybe like 5-10 minutes, or what are we talking here? So J trading there. Well, there you go. That's a good answer, FH. He said my backtest of my trading system says that if I hold more than a certain amount of time, it doesn't work. That's a great answer. He says I don't because the data suggests that it doesn't work for me. That is pretty much in a nutshell what he said, which is a very good answer. I'd like to, but my conviction of what I'm trying to do isn't there yet. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Swing trading, I will hold longer. Yeah. It just depends on the setup, huh? You know, when I ask the question, it's not even to say that you should be holding for an hour or more. I'm just curious as to what everyone that's watching's hold rate is. There's no wrong answer here, you know? Not really like, oh, you should be. It's just a question. Yeah. Well, we held into the euro close over the overnight high. We're not close enough for me to want to buy more to that area. I would have bought more, but it needed to be, I would have liked to have been trading near 70s. Is that even doable? I mean, I'm sure they can figure it out. I just don't know. It's hard. Actually, you know what? I don't know. It's like, can they simulate like returns on options on a it's different because options, like, people can mess with the spreads really easily. So like if you think about it, like, remember with the whole Apex thing that happened 2 years ago where people were paper trading or arbitrage trading the 10-year treasury and the 30-year treasury for one tick because they're so liquid. They were putting the bid, they're buying at the bid, selling out the offer over and over, just doing it all day, and they were milking the prop firms for it. But I don't know, because the options, people can milk them, because again, the thing we have to consider is prop firms, they're not real fills. So like you'll get a clean fill with no slippage. So like, what if someone's buying like a 10-cent option and then selling it for 15 over and over and over? I don't know if they can simulate that. It's possible, I'm sure, but maybe there'd be, I think the parameters around the restrictions of what you can trade are more important than the simulation of the actual Greeks, because they can just go with the Black-Scholes model for the front end, but the back end is where, like, are people going to scalp the spreads of the options and milk the game, you know, and create that edge? Maybe if they put if they make the commissions round trip more than the scalping the spread, then that would eliminate that problem, I guess. But I think it's possible. I just think there's a lot of little nuances that would need to be resolved. Like, I can see people trying to buy like a 10-cent option and sell it for 15, buy like 10 of them, sell them for 15, and try to scalp their way out of it. Trying to milk it. Or yeah, I think that's the only way. And then they would probably have to do, like, maybe they make them only spreads. Maybe that would be an easier way to go about it, where you can only trade spreads, not naked calls or puts. I don't know. It's a complex thing for sure, but I think they can figure. I think it's a problem that if you fix, it has a lot of reward. You know, it's like the biggest problems are usually the best things to kind of to figure out the payoff, because no one's willing to do it. That's true. And you'd have to think about, what if you get assigned the option and you're in the wrong? Yeah. On nakeds, that's true. So I think it's a matter of like what they would allow versus what they would not allow to start. And I think, yeah, probably just having a spread. Something like that. I don't know if they do it. I'm sure there's someone trying to figure it out right now. Maybe. Maybe a good one. And the book got really thick here. Look at this. Yeah, the book is like thick both ways. There's another push. Just slowly, casually grinding up. What is my most favorite time frame? The 4 hour. The 4 hour is probably my favorite time frame, to be honest. That's probably the one where the one with the best setups for the ones with my biggest wins in terms of net P&L and conviction come from the 4 hour time frames. That's a good question, though. No, not at all. Are you looking for absorption on top only? No, not exactly, not at all. We're looking for failed breakdowns. Failed breakdowns of structural areas, right? Structural areas can vary depending on the time frame. It can be the overnight low, prior day low, value area low, weekly value area low, weekly low, things like that. IB low, so the initial balance low, that's another one. It's always a break of a structural level, and then we look for a failed breakdown there. Now that can be in confluence, like as an addition, then yeah, like absorption can be seen, and that's a part of confirmation, but it is not the confirmation. So using absorption only does not mean entry. It does not constitute an entry for me. Maybe some people do that, I don't know. But for me, I need the quality of the trade is based on the lack of or the inability to break below that structure. And if there happens to be absorption, that's just an added layer of confluence for the conviction of the trade, which constitutes bigger size or maybe more conviction to hold. But no, absorption alone does not constitute an entry for me. Because the trade today and the one I took overnight, there was no absorption. Not that at least I can pinpoint and say I saw. The only absorption there's been today, at least from what I can tell right now, is on the highs. At the highs, there's been absorption of sellers trying to hold price down, but they failed. You can see this big delta print here near the open. Or we printed at 419 contracts. There was a seller that took in all those lots and rejected lower. Look at how colorful the market depth is right now. Wow. Sometimes looking, yeah, it can hold you back. Structure, yeah, because if you're looking for primarily just absorption, sometimes there's not going to be any. Yeah, no, I agree. I think structure is more important, and then if you're waiting for that absorption, sometimes it never comes. You know, in most instances, there will be times where it likely doesn't come around, and you're just not. If you don't enter because you don't see it, then you just miss the entry, and that's fine. So it's just... Yeah, that's true. That also is true. So like that's also true. If we there's no follow through or absorption, they tend to get run over. Well, we're at the high of day here, just trending. I'm gonna step away for the day, you guys. I don't have much to do here. I'm just gonna trail this trade, call it a day here. The target's 600 if they got it. I'm not sure if they do. It's funny because like the volume is shifting up with price, so we may have a squeeze rally at some point if that happens, because the DOM is super thick. This could be good or bad. Either they're absorbing a bunch of the buying here right now, or value is shifting up and we're gonna explode. I can't tell. Look at all the volume that's traded here. Your confirmation is always delta divergence. Okay, well, cool, man. You have your system. I'm glad it helps. So this could be a good thing or a bad thing, whatever's happening right now, right here. But anyway, I'm gonna bounce. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a good rest of your session. Thanks for everyone who tuned in.